Ava and Alex can be seen playing a video game with so much enthusiasm on their faces. Well, it's more like a game demo of their love story. Alex lives in Sao Paulo while Ava lives in Bahia, but he has known he wanted to marry her from their very first and funny meeting. They met in the bar where Eva was working then. He accidentally bumped into someone who spilled his drink, and Eva came to his rescue. It was love at first sight. Ava scoffs listening to Alex talk about their first meeting as she continues playing hard. For Ava, he is the only reason she believes in love. She always thought there was so much more to accomplish before marriage. Despite that, she is sure she wants to be near him, even though they are in a long-distance relationship. Alex wants a big wedding, and he's working hard towards achieving it, hence the reason he created the video game they are playing. However, he still needs some company to invest in it. He brings out a box and asks her to find the present in it. Eva sees a ring, and a smile envelops her face, as her nerd boyfriend asks her to marry him. And so the preparations for Alex's dream wedding begins. Their love is sweet, but it looks like there will be a bit of drama. Let's dig in deeper. At the resort in Bahia where the lovebirds first met, Elvira, Eva's mother, makes a video to do a little intro about the family resort and how her daughter transformed the place. Meanwhile, in Sao Paulo, Santiago and Karina, Alex's parents, are recording themselves talking about their son and how their family intends to travel all the way for their son's wedding. The couple soon start arguing over Karina's decision to go to Bahia and assist Eva in the planning. Well, every other important person in the lives of the couple takes time to record themselves for the wedding, including Tatiana and Fernando, Eva's sister and father, and Beto and Lara, their friends. It's going to be one awesome wedding with a lot of supportive people there to make the day beautiful, or maybe it will be dramatic. Let's keep our fingers crossed. 5 days before the wedding, Tatiana, Eva's sister, accompanies Eva at the bridal shop to fit her gown. She looks so amazing that Tatiana wants to shed some tears, making Eva also want to cry. But she jokingly tells Eva to save the tears for the divorce. Oh well, funny woman. Eva laughs at her sister's joke. Then she feels something is missing in her look, so she stares into the mirror and checks her outfit for what it might be. Meanwhile, Alex is lashing out at Beto for talking about a feast on his video recording. He reminds his friend that he's going broke as he hasn't found a company to invest in his game yet. Anxiety is getting the best of Alex because he doesn't want to bother Eva with anything as she's busy with the wedding plans. Maybe this dream wedding might cost too much. At Sao Paulo, 53 hours before the wedding, Eva gets stressed over calls in preparation for her day, and they need to leave for the airport in an hour to go to the wedding venue. She has been planning this wedding for 6 months, but it feels like it's all going to go wrong. Alex assures her that everything will be fine, and she's doing exceptionally well. Once again, her phone rings, and this time it's her mother. You know, mothers-in-law tend to clash during weddings, and this wedding isn't an exception. Elvira calmly asks her daughter if it's okay to end Karina's life, because she's making changes to everything that has already been arranged, and she is not finding her actions funny. 53 hours to go, Santiago hits the road with their motorbike, and Fernando, Eva's dad, is riding with them. Eva calls her dad, who is finding it difficult to travel with Santiago and his family because of all the shenanigans. They are dancing to loud music that might blow off his eardrums. Alex receives a call from a prospective investor, but they want to meet with him the next day, which will be quite impossible because they have to fly soon. But then, he needs the money. The news throws him into a state of confusion on what to do. He doesn't know how to convince Eva to let him stay until his meeting. He then starts rehearsing how he's going to speak with Susan, the CEO of Mind Games. Eva comes running with fear all over her face. She finds out that her wedding dress is not ready until a later time. This seems like perfect timing for Alex. He calms her from panicking and offers to pick up the dress when it's ready. Then he will come join her after. An hour later, Eva is preparing to leave Sao Paulo. Alex doesn't want to raise expectations or raise Eva's hope for nothing, so he's not telling her about his meeting just yet. He sends a message to Susan to schedule their meeting for today instead of tomorrow. He goes to pick up his friend Lara from the airport alongside Beto, who meets Lara for the first time. Meanwhile, Eva is already on the plane with her sister, and she's panicking, having wedding jitters. She is still worried that something will go wrong, especially as Alex isn't taking her calls. Alex, on the other hand, is in a meeting with Susan, ignoring calls from his bride-to-be. He and Eva have never fought, but he knows she'll never forgive him if he ruins their wedding. A man's gotta do what he has to do if he wants to save his wedding. Beto tries to make passes at Lara, but she's uninterested and puts him off. After the long meeting and showing his game to her team members, it seems Susan is interested in the game. He soon runs to the car and asks Beto to step on the gas, or else he's never going to make it to the wedding. Tatiana shuts her sister up for worrying too much and thinking she can control Alex's movements. Ava wonders in her mind if he's going to screw her up at this critical time. Meanwhile, Alex arrives at the seamstress's place, but the store is closed. He's going crazy not knowing what to do, but he needs to come up with something fast. While they try different ideas on how to solve the problem on the ground, the owner arrives thinking they are robbers. After explaining who he is, Alex finally gets the dress. Now the next challenge is how to get a plane as all flights are fully booked, and the next available flight will be next week. Meanwhile, Santiago is amused by his family who is singing and dancing all through the ride. Since Fernando is divorced from Eva's mom, Santiago suggests that he hook up with his single sister Adelia. The conversation gets him distracted, and unfortunately, the vehicle soon derails. Elvira and Karina are still not getting along. Elvira is going bonkers because Karina has changed the decorations and colors of the flowers on the tables, and what's worse is she's also going with her for the wine tasting. Elvira tries to keep her cool and restrain herself from doing anything to Karina before her daughter arrives. Alex and his friends try their best to convince the airline staff how important their flight is and why they need to leave as soon as possible. Understanding the situation, she refers them to another airline, which will be taking their last flight to a location about 5 hours from the wedding venue. It's better than waiting till the following week anyway. The three of them run to the other airline and talk to the old man there to book their flight, but Beto suddenly feels uncomfortable with it. He thinks it's a bad omen, worried that if the sign is bad, then the flight will be worse. He doesn't want to go, but Alex is willing to do anything at the moment, as long as he gets on the flight to join his bride. Alex wants to bring the luggage containing the wedding dress as carry-on, but the old man insists he has to check it in. Back to Santiago's vehicle. He finally succeeds in fixing it. He tells everyone to get on board so they can continue the journey to Bahia. Hours into the journey, his sister Adelia and her daughter Adelaide join them. They express unhappiness about everyone getting to shoot a video for the wedding, except them. They blame Santiago for not informing them, and they move to the other end of the car to start shooting their own video. At the bar, Elvira and Karina are drunk with wine, and for the first time, they are chatty and friendly with each other. Eva, Tatiana, and her friends arrive and are surprised to find both women drunk and even laughing with each other. Eva calls on the bartender. She orders him to get everything ready, as she needs to check every preparation they have made. Later that evening, she lays on the bed to rest a little. Well, it seems the bride gets to ensure that everything is perfect for the wedding, while the groom just has to show up and say, "I do." Eva lays on the bed wishing she'll be the groom in her next life, if she is to get married again. Her friends barge in talking about her bachelorette party, but Eva is too tired, so she sends them away so she can have some rest. Santiago decides to take a break from driving. He entrusts the wheels to his daughter Sofia so he can get some sleep, and she's sure doing great. Fernando follows him, but he ends up teaching Adelia's son Juan how to properly play the musical instrument he's been playing wrongly. 45 hours before the wedding, Alex has no other option but to travel without the wedding dress with him as he checked it in. Lara insists he tells Ava the truth, so he calls her and informs her about the issues they are facing with the flight, but can't bring himself to tell her about her dress. He hangs up and gets on the flight believing that he will be able to sort everything out. Eva, on the other hand, feels his behavior is beginning to feel weird. She can't imagine what it's like to not have the groom and the dress on her wedding day. So she decides to call this airline he speaks about so she can get some information. With 43 hours to go, he succeeds in bringing the dress with him, but when they arrive at their destination, he's so frustrated to find an accordion in the bag instead of the dress. Later, he and Lara are sitting by the roadside waiting for Beto, who is getting them a vehicle. Alex feels maybe he's just not good enough for Ava, but Lara assures him that she's with him. She wonders if he might be subconsciously trying to sabotage his wedding because he's in love with someone else. Or maybe he wants to take the offer from Susan, meaning he will have to go to London, and he's been lying to Eva all day. Alex explains that he just doesn't want to get Eva worked up. He even asks her how he would know for sure if he is subconsciously trying to sabotage his own wedding. Just then, Beto comes with a vehicle, and before getting in, Alex assures Lara that he will tell Eva the truth. Meanwhile, Eva is out partying with her girls. She's determined not to let the lying Alex ruin her mood. At the bar, Eva excuses herself to go grab some drinks, and she's surprised to find her ex, Gabriel, who informs her that he owns the bar. He orders some tequila shots, which she takes to her friends, and also informs them about her ex owning the bar, but they are not even listening to her. She decides to drink and dance as much as she wants. Unbeknownst to her, Gabriel is not taking his eyes off of her. Seems the old flames didn't go down completely. With 42 hours to go, Alex and his friends successfully locate Mr. Helio. the owner of the accordion, and the bag containing the wedding dress as well. They recover the bag and hit the road, but discover they are out of gas. A never-ending tale of unfortunate incidents. Unfortunately, Helios can be of no help to them. He asks them to stay the night and celebrate the festival of love with them, and then the next day, they will get some gas. Beto panics, not knowing how to break the news to his friend. He gets back to inform Alex, but it seems the pastries offered to them earlier have something in them, because Alex and Lara are acting funny. Even when Beto reports the situation to Alex, he only laments for a few seconds and goes back to acting funny. The next day they have just 33 hours to go. Mr. Helio fixes everything, and they now have a full tank. Beto comes to wake them so they can hit the road already. Meanwhile, Eva wakes up that morning trying to understand the concept of this bachelorette party. She doesn't understand why one has to be reminded of everything they get to lose by getting married one day before the wedding. She has no doubts about her love for Alex, but all that mess has her wondering. She receives a call from Gabriel, interrupting the line of her thoughts, and he requests to discuss something with her. On the ride, Beto informs his friends that he got the vehicle on rent for only 2 hours, and he doesn't have enough money to pay for the extra hours. His friends slam him for not thinking thoroughly or even informing them early enough. But he tells them not to blame him for forgetting, especially since they do not even remember what happened the previous night. Alex and Lara look at each other wondering what could have happened last night. 31 hours to go, and Eva meets up with Gabriel by the beachside. The previous night, he joined her on the dance floor. Gabriel reminds her that they kissed, and they even took some pictures. Eva shrugs it off. She intends to tell Alex the truth as a kiss doesn't mean anything, but she's intrigued by the picture part because she can't even recall anything about it. Gabriel tells her to chill and he's going to delete the pictures, but it will cost her. He explains that he's heavily in debt and the bar isn't bringing in profit. Eva is enraged that he's blackmailing her, and he claims there are more pictures. She's certain that nothing happened, but Gabriel keeps trying to manipulate her as she was so intoxicated, and is also not sure what really happened. He gives her a piece of paper with the amount she has to pay. Eva gets back to her room and she's deliberating with the girls on what to do when Alex's call comes in. Beto and Lara bet on what Eva's response will be when Alex informs her that he will be coming in much later, but to their surprise, Eva doesn't sound angry, and she's not making a fuss. Alex suspects something is wrong. They approach closer to the car rental place, and he does not like the sight of the men holding shotguns. The men look like they are auto wreckers for stolen cars. It's not going to be funny. Back to Santiago, his vehicle breaks down in the middle of the road once again, and they wait for it to be repaired. They start searching for reception on their phones so they can make some calls. The rest of the family is driven crazy as they roam around what feels like a desert. Eva decides to play Gabriel's games. She steals some cash from her mother's safe so she can pay him off, but while she's at it, Elvira walks in. Even though she doesn't suspect her of stealing her money, Eva is driven by guilt, so she reveals the truth to her mother. While they are discussing the issue at hand, Karina walks by and overhears the conversation. She quietly listens and walks back without drawing their attention. Let's hope she won't do something to jeopardize their love. Alex and his friends face a difficult situation, as they don't have enough money to pay for the rental. Now, the owner of the rental, who is called Mad Dog, threatens to call the cops on them for having sweets laced with dope that were found in the vehicle. It turns out Beto knows all about it, and now they might just really go to jail. They blame Beto, who is moved to tears, as he apologizes to them. Thankfully, Alex is able to contact Sophia and Mad Dog, who drives him to where his family is. Throughout the ride, Mad Dog seems to have taken a liking to Alex's story, and listens while Alex says how he is actually scared about getting married, but is still choosing to fight for his love. They finally find Santiago, and Mad Dog assists him with the vehicle. He also surprisingly refuses to collect a dime from Alex. He says it's his wedding gift to him. At the rental place, Palestina, Mad Dog's business partner, engages Beto and Lara in a conversation. He informs them of how Mad Dog is a skilled mechanic, and that he is the brain behind the rental business. It also turns out that both men have been together for a long time, and emotions developed along the line. Mad Dog soon returns, and he fixes the truck so Alex and his friends can leave with his family. Mad Dog feels inspired by Alex's story. He brings out a ring and proposes to Palestina when they are alone together. 24 hours before the wedding, Eva and her mother team up with Batista and the other girls to get a confession from Gabriel, so they can report him to the authorities. Gabriel comes with another man who is holding the phone with the photos. Things are starting well, and they are able to record a confession using a drone, but unfortunately, the drone crashes into a tree. Gabriel signals his man to run away with the phone. They lose the recording and the photographs. Eva's friends angrily bash Gabriel. That evening, he swears that Ava will pay for what her friends did to him. Karina walks in and offers to pay, instead of Ava. She hands him a briefcase of money and collects the phone. She goes back to the house and Elvira joins her in breaking the news to Eva and her friends. It turns out that Eva and Karina planned it to get the needed evidence against Gabriel, who is now in police custody. Ava thanks Karina for being an amazing mother-in-law, and Karina assures her that whatever is on the phone is only Ava's business, and not hers. The groom and the rest of his family soon arrive, and the soon-to-be couple run to embrace each other. After kissing, Eva informs Alex that she needs to tell him something. They walk away from the others to where they can discuss without distractions. They get to the room and Eva confesses everything to him and shows him the pictures. Thank goodness that Alex is a tech guy. He instantly recognizes that the photos are all photoshopped and nothing is real there. He knows that she could keep it away from him, but she still decides to tell him about it, and for that, he loves her even more. The couple kiss each other passionately, and laughter fills the room as they reconcile. Alex decides to reveal the truth about why he volunteered to pick the dress, and all that happened while he is trying to get to the venue. Eva takes a look at the dress and she's angry, shocked, terrified. From the tone of her voice, Alex can tell everything is not well. He takes a look at the dress and suddenly remembers that Beto wore it and danced around the bonfire at the ranch when he returned the accordion to Helio. An amazing turn of events, I must say. Eva is angry, and now she thinks the wedding will never happen. She tells him to convince Tatiana to give her dress to her so they can go on with the wedding. Alex shuts her up with a kiss and promises to make everything right, but his phone suddenly rings. He intends not to listen to the voice message from Susan, but Eva insists. She's surprised to hear that he'll have to move to London. Alex skips that part in his confession on purpose. She convinces him to take the offer, as it's his biggest dream, and she wouldn't want him to give it all up for their love, which might not even survive a long time. She takes off her ring and begs him not to marry her, or rather she unproposes to him. Her love for Alex is much greater than her desire to marry him. Sadly, they break the news to the rest of the family members, and everyone is so unhappy, especially with all the effort they've put into this wedding. Who wouldn't be? The funny thing is, the duo still ends up making love that night after calling their wedding off. Well, Alex resumes work in London as the creative director. He walks into his office ready to get the day started. The communication between him and Eva is not as it used to be. One day, while playing the game at home, Eva gets on a call with him. She thinks he has probably found someone else. He reveals to her that the game will be launched as soon as he returns to Sao Paulo, and he is the creative director in Brazil now. Could this be another opportunity to give their wedding a chance? Eva is excited. She wants to know when he will be coming back, but she can no longer hear him. She drops her phone and runs out the balcony smiling, only to find the love of her life standing downstairs. Love can be beautiful and true. They run towards each other, and as soon as Eva is in his arms, he kisses her lips lovingly. The excitement and joy within them is just refreshing. Alex asks her to marry him again. This time, he's no longer that broke guy who hates his job, but an accomplished man. He asks to marry her right away as he cannot afford to wait another minute. With the help of Tatiana, the seamstress makes another dress for her. Tears fill up their eyes as he hands her the briefcase containing her dress. Eva asks him to wait for him and runs back inside, while he chuckles in what seems to be a mixture of excitement, joy, and fulfillment. Finally, he'll get to keep the woman of his dreams by his side forever. In London, he reconsidered his life and his dream of getting married. He realized that his dreams weren't stupid or kid stuff, but now he wants a wedding with only the important things, just him and Eva. His Aunt Adelia, who is actually a lawyer, officiates the wedding in the presence of their families and friends who are gathered in the van. It turns out that when Eva called the wedding off, she was just scared. But just like her dad always says, one shouldn't be afraid of being happy. The marriage ceremony ends, and the couple get on Santiago's van, which is decorated as their bridal carriage.